We seek refuge in God from the ousted Satan. In the name of God, the most exalted. Peace and salutation upon Prophet Muhammad and his progeny. Welcome to Quran and Today's Life. As you were chasing the program from the previous session, we were talking about how to speak to people, the way of speaking to people. It was our program. And today, we have our guest here, Mr. Ziai Hujjatul Islam wal Muslimin Ziai from Islamic Seminary and Universities of Qom. As you know, the way of speaking in Islam and Holy Quran was emphasized much in Holy Quran. So we would like to know the way of speaking, what is it in fact? The expert is going to tell us more. Let's have his introductory word and then we go to the topic. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to your program, and thanks for your time.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you for being in this discussion, and I hope that our brothers and sisters will enjoy this discussion and the issues that are discussed will be beneficial for them, inshallah. And
thanks for your time indeed. And as you heard, I was telling the audience, we were talking about the way of speaking to people according to Holy Quran. So would you please give us some examples and elaborate more in this regard? And as you know, in previous session, we brought some examples from Prophet Muhammad and Imams. So now we want to carry on the program by some examples.
Yes. Of course, you remember that we divided the topic into two major groups. That the Holy Quran, about the way of speaking, he divides the way of speaking in two groups. The first group of verses that are speaking in this regard are the verses that are in this regard in general. I mean that when we want to talk to everybody, no difference who is he or she is. So no difference. For example, he is your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, your neighbor. No difference. In this regard, we have some verses. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the chapter Isra, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقل لعبادي يقولوا التي هي أحسن. O the Prophet, tell my servants that they should speak with the others in the best way. That we discussed, that what does it mean, the best way, and we gave some examples and of the life of the Holy Prophet and some verses from the Holy Quran. And now we want to speak about the second type of the verses in the Holy Quran that are speaking about the way of talking to people. And
are they some particular people, or?
Of course, yes, because the first group was the verses that they were speaking about the people about the major people, common people, no difference who the audience is. But today in this session, we want to speak about the special groups. I mean that the Holy Quran orders us, tells us, advises us to have a way of speaking and have a special way of speaking with some special groups. And
who are those special groups?
Okay, we can come into the discussion. But the first group that we can speak about them are the orphans. The orphans.
The people they do not have parents.
Yes, the people, or
the
we can say the children that have no parents and they have no protector in the society. They are alone. And so they are so weak in the society. They need some protect. The Holy Quran in the chapter Nisa, verse 5, speaks about these children who are orphans. And says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولا تؤتوا السفهاء أموالكم التي جعل الله لكم قياما وارزقوهم فيها واكسوهم وقولوا لهم قولا معروفا. Of course, there are some advices that about the orphans in this verse and the next verse, and there are some verses in this in the beginning of the chapter of Nisa about the orphans, that how we should behave with them. But just I want just to speak about the way of speaking that the Holy Quran tells us, that how we should speak with them, not the habits and the way of habit. So,
excuse me, sir, would you please let us know the way of speaking now you mentioned? What is it in fact? For example, meaning do not shout, do not yell, do not, for example, be proud, or what do you mean exactly the way?
You know, these children, because they have no protect in the society, they usually feel some emotionally disturbances. So the Holy Quran tells us that you should speak with orphans in the good manner, قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. And the tafasir in this regard explain that the قَوْلًا مَعْرُوف here means that you should speak with these people, with these children, in a way that, of course, it includes that you should not shout at them, you should not bother them. But the most important point here is that you should speak with them in a way that they feel that they have a protect. They don't feel any gap.
And you mean tranquility and calmness behind your thing?
Yes, they have tranquility
speech.
and the emotional disturbances that they have, that they feel. Because, of course, what you do, you won't be their father, you won't be their family. So, but you should fill this gap as you can. And the Holy Quran says that...
How does you know this gap is going to be filled by my speaking?
You know that sometimes I want to tell an orphan something, I can give him some advices as I give my child, my boy, my girl, but my daughter, but sometimes I can reprove him. So that in a way that he feels that I'm telling him that you are not perfect, you have some problems, and I want to show your problems, and I don't want to protect you, and I don't want you to, make yourself perfect, and just want to show you the points that are so weak in you. And
you mean, to do not, show when you're talking to him or to her, you're going to downgrade or humiliate him. For example, one instance.
Yes.
When I'm talking to my child, I say, okay, how are you, child? How are you, kid? Where are you going? So nice. How was today? Or for example, sometimes I'm talking to somebody with this bad manner. I say, where are you? What is your name? Or something like this.
Okay, this is one side. And on the other side, we have that you should speak with them in a way that they feel personality. You should fulfill their personality. You should, of course, complete it. Help them to find their personality. And sometimes that somebody doesn't have the self-esteem to speak with people, because they don't let him to speak. Sometimes the qawlan ma'ruf means that you should listen to them, not to speak with them. You should listen to them. You should let them speak with you, not just ordering them and speaking with them and talking to them.
Is it because, they are isolated, and because they are orphan and they don't have father or mother, so they have been isolated, they are not attended, they don't have any much attention in society.
Of course, the Holy Quran says that they should not get isolated. We see some people nowadays that they supply the funds of the life of these children. And
Financially, you
yes,
mean?
financially. And they play the role of the parents of them.
And the supporter, you know.
Yes,
I mean.
and these, of course, in this regard, they speak with them in the gently and in a good manner, and they make them feel personality. They make
Excuse
them,
me, sir, because you know our role model is, you know, we can say they are Prophet Muhammad and his progeny and imams. So, can you give us some example from Prophet Muhammad or Imam Ali alayhi salam, how they were conducting or how they were talking to orphans?
Okay, we have lots of these, you know, stories of their lives. But let me give you just an example of the Imam Ali alayhi salam's life, that we all know that when he was a caliph, and was the governor of the society, he used to go to the homes of the orphans and play with them. You know that, and sometimes, most of the times, of course, they don't even know him.
Mm-hmm.
He
Was unknown.
Yes, they didn't know him, and they feel just, who is this person, who is this personality that helps us, and who is this kind man? And just when the Imam Ali alayhi salam passed away and martyred, they knew that who was that man. So this is the way of our imams.
And how the Prophet, because you know mainly we have got this Holy Testament, Holy Scripture from Prophet Muhammad. So would you please give us one example from Prophet Muhammad, the way, because we have a lot of stories shows that Prophet Muhammad was talking to orphans very nice and in a good way. So
of course, you know that the Holy Prophet himself was an orphan.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh
and,
yeah, you're right.
He himself, you know, feel these sensitive and these, you know, emotional disturbances himself. Of course, he has uncles. He had uncles. He has had some people around him, but they won't be his father or his mother.
They cannot substitute his father.
So he felt these, you know, emotional senses in his childhood.
So he has the same understanding.
Yes. So he was so kind to the, of course, all of the children. You know that when every time that the Holy Prophet was passing an alley in the Medina or Mecca, he was the first that was saying to the children or infants, "Hello, salam." And we have in the history that the children and the orphans were trying to be the first, but the Holy Prophet was always the first. This is the way of our Prophet to speaking with children and orphans.
Okay, thank you. It was very nice, you know, the way of speaking to orphans and how we have to talk to them, how nicely we have to talk to them, and how we can say we shouldn't humiliate them or we shouldn't, you know, downgrade them by our speaking. So thank you very much for your explanation. Let's have a short break. Hold on here. Sure. We'll be back again. Okay, dear viewers, we have a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Okay, dear viewers, thanks again. We're back. We're talking about the orphans according to our program. It's called Quran and Today's Life. Our guest tonight is Mr. Hujjatul Islam Wal Muslimin Ziai. Let's go back to him and talk about this issue more. Up to now and so far, we have discovered that, you know, the way of speaking to people, they're in two groups, in two ways. The general groups and some particular groups. Firstly, we talked about orphans. So now let's see, what are the rest? Okay, thank you, sir. You were explaining nicely. So would you elaborate more, and who are the next group?
Of course, the next group are the people who are poor and they ask you to help them. We have a verse in the Holy Quran, chapter Baqarah, the second chapter of the Holy Quran, verse 263, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, let me recite it in this session. We have not recited the Holy Quran.
Nice. Let's enjoy this.
تلاوة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that all people, if you tell somebody a good word, speak with him gently, in a good way, in a good manner, it is better for you that if you give him something, but tell him that, oh, remember this, I help you.
I see.
You should make it up later. So it says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the first is the better than the second. قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوفٌ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن صَدَقَةٍ يَتْبَعُهَا أَذًى. If you give somebody something, but you bother him next, and make him, annoying him.
Excuse me, sir. Something comes to my mind, and maybe is the other, some of our viewers question. Sometimes you see a beggar comes to you. We don't know, is he a needy person or a poor person or not? Is he right or not? And so, do you mean we have to talk even to this man in a gentle way, and we shouldn't, shout or humiliate, even we are not going to help?
Of course, exactly in this regard, we have a narration of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that this is narrated in Majma' al-Bayan Tafsir from Marhum Tabarsi rahmatullah alayh. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, says, إذا سأل السائل فلا تقطعوا عليه مسألته حتى يفرغ منها ثم ردوا عليه بوقار ولين إما بدل يسير أو رد جميل. The Holy Prophet says that whenever a beggar or a poor people comes to you and asks you to help him, to give him or her something, the Holy Prophet says that do not cut his words, do not cut his sentences. For example, he comes to you, the kind man, please help me. He's speaking, but you cut him. I have not
We shouldn't
anything
him.
to give you. No, do
We
not cut him. Yes, do not interrupt him. Let him or her finish his speaking. So, فَلَا تَقْطَعُوا عَلَيْهِ مَسْأَلَةً حَتَّى يَفْرُغَ مِنْهَا. Until he or she finishes his speaking, or her speaking, ثُمَّ رُدُّوا عَلَيْهَ بِوَقَارٍ وَلِينٍ. And then, the Holy Prophet says that you should speak with him respectfully. You should respect him or her. And you should speak him gently, lean. بِوَقَارٍ وَلِينٍ. بِوَقَار means that you should respect him or her, and lean means that you should speak him or her gently. And then, إِمَّا بَدْلٍ يَسِيرٍ أَوْ رَدٍ جَمِيلٍ. You have two choices. One time, you have something in your pocket and you can give him or her, so you can give him and say to him or her, okay, I have this, and I apologize that I have no more to give you, but inshallah God makes your situation better, inshallah, and inshallah your life will be better next. So in this way you can give him something if you have. But if you don't have in your pocket something, so the second choice, you have nothing. You should not, for example,
at least smile to him.
No, not just a smile. The Holy Prophet says that Raddun Jamil. It means that you can pray for him. You can pray for him.
May God help
Yes.
you. May God facilitate everything for
Of
you.
course, the verse says, قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوفٌ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن صَدَقَةٍ يَتْبَعُهَا أَذًى. If you say that Allah forgive you, inshallah. Maghfirah means ask for her or him forgiveness of God. Allah forgive you, inshallah. Allah give you something, inshallah. I have nothing, but I would give you something. Pray for me that me and you, inshallah. For example, you can tell him that pray for me and you, inshallah. God give us something that we can give the hand of the poor people.
You know, sir, some narration came to my mind. I don't know if I'm wrong or I'm right. You know, Prophet Muhammad says, if you don't have something to give as a gift to someone, just at least smile at his face.
Yes.
Is it something related to this case?
Yes, of course. And let me finish this narration.
Sorry, I interrupt you a lot.
Yes, no, it's nice of you. The continuation of this narration is beautiful. The Holy Prophet says, why you should speak with these poor people in a good way and do not cut their words, do not interrupt them, do not bother them, do not annoy them. Because فَإِنَّهُ قَدْ يَأْتِيكُم مَّن لَيْسَ بِإِنسٍ وَلَا جَانٍ يَنظُرُونَ كَيْفَ صَنَعَكُمْ فِيمَا خَوَّلَكُمُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. The Holy Prophet says that something that sometimes this is the exam of God. This is the test of God that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test you. Maybe this person is an angel of God. The Holy Prophet says,
Really?
فَإِنَّهُ قَدْ يَأْتِيكُم مَّن لَيْسَ بِإِنسٍ وَلَا جَانٍ. Somebody who is not ants and John is the angels of God. And he is in the body of a person, of a human. He comes or she comes to you and asks you something, but he's an angel of God. And God is testing you that how would you do with his servants, because you know that the most loved creatures in all over the world is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's servants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have narrations that says that a mu'min, a faithful servant, of course, you know that in our religion, the Kaaba, the holy Kaaba, is so respectful. And we have, round him 7 times. And
Of course.
But we have narrations that tells us that mu'min is more important the Kaaba.
Okay. The honor of a moment.
Yes.
But excuse me, sir, sometimes, some beggars, they come and start, humiliating and insulting you. And they start shouting and saying, okay, you have to help us. If not, so we are going to disgrace you, we are going to slap you. So in this case, what do we have to do? What do we have to...
Of course,
how we have to talk to them?
These cases are so few. And
You mean they're rare?
yes, they're so rare. And nowadays in our society, and I don't know, in some other countries, in these cases are rare, and they are not usual. But if somebody in this case, we face with somebody in this case, that he or she, that maybe he or she feels that we owe something to him or her.
Yeah.
In this case,
By
of
force,
course,
or
we
she
should
is
be
going
patient. We should be patient.
And even if she or he is insisting
Yes,
and making trouble for you,
that poorness would people
poverty, you mean?
yes, poverty make people angry. Of course, if you were him or her, what would you do? You have nothing in your pocket. You have a family. They are looking in your hands. They want you to be back home and buy something for them. But you are out of home and have nothing to do. You have no job. You have no money, and the family waits for you. What would you do? You know that poverty makes the people angry. So in this case, maybe he or she shouts. So we should be patient. We should be patient. Of course, if we have something to give them, we should give them. And it is our duty to give them. It is not just out of our kindness. No. The Holy Prophet says, if you have something, you should give them. You know, that the narration says that, أَمَّا بَذْلًا يَسِيرٌ. If you have, of course it is a little, it is few, but you give him or her. So it is our duty to give him or her something. If we don't have, we should not bother him or annoy him. We should speak to him or her respectfully. So in a case that he don't feel that we feel ourselves higher than him and we are elite people, and he's in a low level of the society.
So would you give me some examples from Prophet Muhammad and his households, like Imam Ali and like Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, how they were talking and they were, discussing to these poor people? Because we have a lot of stories, as we heard.
Yes, of course, we have lots of, because our imams are our models of life. So they should be the first of people who are, fulfilling these verses. So we have lots of stories. For example, in the life of the Holy Prophet, we have in the life of Amir al-Mu'minin.
Because we're running out of the time, would you please, in short minutes...
Let me give you something just from the life of the Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. His companions find somebody in a night, dark of night, that he has something in his bag and going. Out of his curiosity, he follows the person and see that his baggage, fell down from his back, and of course the weather was rainy, and it fell in the ground. So the person says that I went to help the man. Out of the sudden, I saw that he is my Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. The companion says that I asked Imam alayhi salam, what are you doing? Imam alayhi salam says to him that I'm getting bread for the poor people in the Medina. So we have lots of these stories, but because I want to go to the other groups that are mentioned in the Holy Quran, that how we should speak to them, I don't know mention them, that because.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time. Okay. Thanks for your explanations. Inshallah, in next sessions we will talk about this thing, at the middle of middle of these sessions. Inshallah, we'll talk about it more.
But if we let me give some address and some outline of our speaking about in the second sessions, in the next sessions, that we will speaking about about the wife, how we should speak with our wife. The Holy Quran have some orders in this regard, and how we should speak. The fourth group is how we should speak with our children.
That's nice.
And the fifth is how we should speak with our parents. You mean that the family? It means the family, wife, children, and parents. Of course, because I want to speak with about these issues, so vast, and I want to speak in about in detail. Yes, let me give.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your time, sir. Thank you.
Inshallah.
And dear viewers, thanks for your time. And I hope in next session you chase this program. We're going to talk about the thing that our experts said, talking about the wife, children, and parents. So come along with this program in this next session. We'll talk about it more. Thanks for your time. Bye.